Hello, I'm DevPoodle. Over the past few days, I've made a plugin for Godot that I've found quite helpful and that I learned a lot from making. I'm hoping by sharing it and explaining how it works, it will help you out as well. This is the default override plugin. Not a great name, I know, but I wanted to keep it descriptive. The plugin lets you effectively override the default values of node properties. Here I have a Spotlight 3D. By default, the light's attenuation is 1. The physically accurate value, and the one that other programs like Blender use by default, is 2. This follows the inverse square law. There is a pending proposal to change the default value in Godot, but it would be considered a breaking change and probably won't happen soon. So, in the engine, with the default override plugin enabled, I'll set the attenuation to 2, then right-click the property and select Set as Default Value. And that's it! If I add a new Spotlight 3D to my scene, and we look in the inspector, the light automatically has had its attenuation set to 2. Keep in mind, the plugin doesn't retroactively change the values of any nodes you've already created, and it won't apply to scenes instantiated at runtime, so you don't have to worry about it messing up anything already in your project or hindering other add-ons you might have installed. If we go into Project Settings and scroll all the way down, we'll see a few settings for this plugin. The first is the dictionary containing overwritten properties and their new defaults. You can add to this list yourself, or you can remove entries. This one at the top is just meant to be an example of how to add an entry manually. The second setting is called Apply to Inherited Classes. This is true by default, and makes it so that default settings apply not only to the base class they were specified for, but also to inherited classes. For example, if you set Node2D's YSort to be true by default, then it will also be true by default for Sprite2Ds and tilemap layers and so on. By disabling this option, it would only apply to Node2Ds. Finally, there's also this setting called Verbose Output. Enabling this causes the plugin to print out extra information to the debugger. It's mainly used for testing. Now that you know what the plugin does, how does it actually work? All the functionality is in an around 200-line script that inherits from editor plugin. I've split the script into 4 main regions. First, we get references to all the nodes we need by recursively scanning through the editor node tree. I'm aware this is not optimal, and for certain nodes I could store absolute paths, but it means the plugin should be less prone to breaking in future engine updates. Next, we initialize all of the plugin's settings. There's not much to say about this, it's just standard use of the Project Settings API. Then we get to the plugin's functionality. This function is responsible for overriding a node's property when a new one is created. It gets called when the scene tree emits a signal saying a new node has been added. There is a problem with this though. The signal is also called when you drag and drop in a custom scene, which would mean the properties of that scene would be overridden as well, which is normally not desired. To combat this, we have this check at the start of the function. This variable is only true right after the create dialog has been used, meaning the function will only continue if the node is a completely new one. Finally, the biggest region of our script is responsible for adding this option to the right-click menu on Inspector Properties. Honestly, this part is just spaghetti. Each section of the inspector is called an editor property. Each editor property has its own pop-up menu that gets recreated or freed upon different interactions. So it was very annoying to keep track of, to say the least. I think I've ironed out all of the bugs, but I may end up rewriting this part anyway just to make it cleaner. So what does the future of this plugin look like? One of the main limitations of the current system is that it only applies to nodes. You can't set the default values of resource properties with it. I haven't really looked into whether this is possible, but I have a feeling it would be quite a lot more complex than it is with nodes. I'm still considering whether adding it will be a good use of time or not. The main other feature I'm thinking about adding is separate editor settings. Right now, everything is stored in project settings, which means it can all be individualized per Godot project. This was intentional, especially because I don't like polluting editor settings with a bunch of random plugin stuff. But it still would be nice if there was an easier way to pass along your settings between different projects. Let me know if you have any ideas for that. You can check out the project on Git in the description or on the Godot asset library. Just open the Asset Library panel in Godot, search up Default Override, and there it is for download. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Also leave any questions or suggestions you have in the comments below. I'm DevPoodle. I know this was a much shorter video than normal, but still, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye!